All right, welcome once again Thursday evening, squeaky chair and all. Time for Attack of the Android. All sorts of exciting stuff. I assume we're going to talk about. I don't really know. I kind of left that up to Eric this evening. So
The theme of this week's show is Tizen.
ah, well, I like how that ties into what we're doing with. All right, let's just start the show.
Centuries, we've been warned about little green men. Now, they are coming. They're coming for you. Prepare for the attack of the android.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Thursday, July 9th, 2015. It's episode 161 of Tagging the Androids every week. Usually Thursday evenings. Probably going to move that, though, huh? There's been some rumors, some rumblings happening. I'm Matt, that's Eric, and that's Nick. What's happening?
Hey everyone.
Hello.
What's your dog's name? Now I'm curious.
His name is Sirius.
Huh. What is that?
It is the dog Star, and he is an Italian Greyhound, and he's very annoying when he wakes up in the morning, which is why I'm a little nervous that he has trotted down to my office in the middle of the show.
Time to go outside.
That's right.
Before I do
Where's Mom?
do my biz right here.
Someone's got some presents for you.
Oh, God.
So, starting things out strong, BlackBerry, and here to talk about BlackBerry, Shane Brady. Shane, how you doing, man?
Hey, what's up?
Hey guys.
Good to have you. Shane, Google and BlackBerry teaming up to make Lollipop secure. Is that possible?
Well, since Lollipop is probably already secure, it makes it a lot easier for BlackBerry, I guess.
Good answer. Man, I have missed your snark. How you doing, man?
Good, good.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. So, yeah, that is a good point, and I'm sure...
Can they make it more stable? Can they work on that perhaps?
I tell you what, with Lollipop, every 5.1 version I've seen has been good. Every 5.0 version has not been so good. So I hope, because it's not been a good transition from KitKat to Lollipop.
Well, I'm glad to hear you say that, because I'm still not on it, so I'm glad the Moto X first gen's still holding strong, not on that new version.
Yeah, so anybody who has the Shield tablet, can we go off on a tangent like this about Lollipop?
We literally just started, so...
Yeah, oh, not on this show. No.
If anybody had the Shield tablet, okay, will know that on the 5.0 Lollipop version, it could be very laggy and awful. They went to 5.1 maybe a month ago, and now it's like the best tablet I have ever owned. It's fast, it runs smooth, gaming runs great on it. But on my Galaxy Note 4, okay, the original Lollipop upgrade, which I'm still on, was so bad, I actually considered going back to KitKat on this device.
That bad, wow. So
Yeah.
the point ones are good? Because in the chat I was reading that Joey got 5.1.1 for the Nexus 6, which means other people are going to start getting it. Is that the one you want, then?
Well,
Logic?
I think what it is the even the Google version, which has always been pretty decent, I think, on the Nexus 6, but every other OEM version I've heard nothing but problems. I had to reset this one, the Lollipop version, to get it usable again, but I was very close to going back to KitKat because it's very bad. Now, I've had 5.0 on the OnePlus One with Oxygen OS, which is the one they put out by the guys from Paranoid Android. That one has been very slick. That one I've never had an issue with, and it's very close to stock. There might be a point, it's very close to stock. I recently just put Cyanogen 5.1 back on the device. Runs great. I mean, no issues at all with it. Do I have any other device? Oh, my Nexus 5 has Lollipop. Runs great on that. My Shield tablet runs great with Lollipop 5.1. Even now, my Shield TV running 5. Actually, I don't know if it's 5.1 or not, but The OEMs did not do a great job the first versions, and it may be that everybody wanting OEMs to be fast with updates. Maybe we should want them to wait and get it right.
We want OEMs to be more stable with updates.
Yeah, I mean, Lollipop was a big transition, and if you notice, most of the Jelly Bean transitions to KitKat were all pretty smooth for the most part. I didn't see a lot of complaints with that. But Lollipop is a big change. Now, this is not restricted to Android. iOS has these same issues when they make these larger leaps. iOS 7 was not very stable. iOS 8 not very stable.
Yeah, Jelly Bean was an improvement for Ice Cream Sandwich as well. So yeah, 4.0 to 4.1. So.
Yeah, so I think, and the other thing now is so much is in Google Play Services, so much is in apps, and so much is in services. I mean, we nerds probably have to lead this too, but we gotta get off being so obsessed about the latest version all the time and just the best possible experience. Because the reason I went to Samsung, at the time it was running not running Lollipop the first time when I first got there. Is that, and the fact that it runs TouchWiz and all that, is that I spend most of my time in apps now. It just doesn't matter. The TouchWiz stuff, it means the system menus look differently. All the apps look the same. The Google launcher looks the same.
Yeah, you can always just change up the launcher anyways, and that solves most of the problem anyway. So.
I feel like the apps are kind of getting us adjusted to that, though, because how many times are you like, oh, cool, an update to an app, and you update it, and then a bunch of stuff breaks, and now you're at the whimsy of the developer to re-update it or to, go to the last version that you had that worked.
Yeah, I feel like app developers do a better job of that, though.
Well, yeah, they're only worrying about one, not one thing, but they're worrying about their app, not like a whole operating.
Well, yeah. Google has helped with this a lot, like with the shift to Google Play Services, to a lot of these new features not having to be bundled with a system update. Like, I think that's part of the reason why I don't necessarily feel like I need to go on XDA and flash the M preview or something like that, is because a lot of the good features are coming unbundled from system updates nowadays. So they're not as important.
When that was announced at I/O a couple years ago, was it 3? No, it was a couple years ago. But we were like, this is going to be awesome because now you're not going to have to be waiting for major updates. They can slowly decouple the major apps that want a keyboard and camera and whatever else, play services and stuff. And I think.
For me, the big one was actually Google Now Launcher, because for a while I was running on the OnePlus One, Cyanogen, before they went to Lollipop, was running a KitKat version. Yeah. I actually, I downgraded from a Lollipop Nexus 5 to a KitKat OnePlus One, and you put the launcher on there and you just don't notice it. Like literally, it just doesn't matter. Or you get those cool updates where like all of a sudden your phone can do something even though you don't have a new OS. Like what was the one that recently came up there? Some version of Smart Lock, or the one where it detects if it's on you. The Smart Lock can now, it's not security, but like now if you're walking around with your phone, it's not gonna lock all the time. But there's something else. Oh, the Google the Smart Lock password stuff. That's been rolled out, even though that's been rolled out to certain Lollipop devices without having to do a system update. Like, I don't know if you guys have come across that yet. You can now, I think I was installing Netflix, and Netflix asked me, do you want to store your password in with Smart Lock? I mean, that was not an OS update. That was just Google Play Services.
That's cool.
I haven't seen it yet, but the only Smart Lock I've seen is in terms of the Chromebook. Mm-hmm. Like saying, oh, it's on you, you've unlocked the phone, therefore you don't have to put in your Google password. But I haven't seen any of this other stuff.
Yeah, I had to reinstall Netflix and it came up for that. Android Device Manager, where now it can detect your device. That was pushed out. That was not an OS update. That sounds like something you'd think would be pretty major, being able to manage your device and all that. But they put it into Google Play Services and everything. So I don't know if they knew that when they did that, because they must have done it on Gingerbread, right? Because everything goes back to Gingerbread. But that was a pretty good thing, and it just changes how you look at updates with iOS versus with iOS Android. I think a recent good example is when Google pushed their new version of Google Music. They just pushed an app update. iOS had to push that entire OS update, and when you change that many bits, more things can go wrong. And nothing did, but you'd rather just change an app than the whole system.
You can almost make an argument then that all of that, multiple screen sizes and everything was a good thing because it made Google do this, whereas Apple didn't need to do that. There wasn't, this big divide in all of these devices because they controlled it. So they didn't have that need to go that route. And it seems like, at least what we've seen in Android, it's been hugely beneficial.
Yeah, well now Apple is having to do that, right? They sneak it in there. They're like, oh, don't worry about the screen size anymore. And Android developers are like, hey, been there, done that. This is nothing new.
All right, done. Worried about, yo.
Yeah, because we have iOS developers and Android developers, and it's funny how different they think about it. Like we all have different sized Android phones. And it's not like a big deal. It's not like a big deal figuring out the layout. With iOS, it's like, we have we have to worry about a 3.5-inch device. It just things don't work as well. And with iOS in terms of layout, so and you get fragmentation concerns with iOS too.
That was the word. I couldn't think of the word. Thank you.
Yeah, I think fragmentation is something only that Apple blogs now really talk about with any serious earnest. I don't think the public cares.
Since we've seen it in any kind of article that we've talked about.
Yeah, I just don't think it's an issue anymore. I don't, apps and services. That's where it's at, and
We need a new F word now.
I have a few.
Barry. So let's finish this up. They're saying that this is a big win for both sides. That Google's going to get this huge boost to the security ecosystem and all of these enterprise customers, right? And then BlackBerry is going to get Android to cut off all of this cache it's hemorrhaging, I guess.
I think there are still a lot of, there are still a lot of corporations and certainly government that they made the move to BES 12, and now they're looking for devices. And what devices do they have? They have they have the BlackBerry Classic. There are still some users that want BlackBerry, but there are a lot more users, I think, that know Android, that have it personally on their personal devices, and they want to use it. And this gives enterprise they had the ability before, but it gives them the ability to manage stuff client side, manage devices without having to, teach their techs and their engineers a new tool. They can use something they've already paid for, they already have, they already know. So from that point of view, I think that it's better. The security side, they can do some of the, remote locking, remote wiping, things that are in Android, but again, now they're in this tool set that they know how to use already and that they're familiar with. You don't have to convince the executive to buy or use this, allow the company to use something new. You can say, oh, it's already in the package we have.
Yeah, and some Android OEMs like Samsung, they have their own system like Knox, where you get security and you can have two, frames of reference how to use your phone, for work or play. So there's a lot more options in Android, and it's a lot more popular, and a lot of people have Samsung phones or Android phones. So
isn't Knox part of Lollipop now? Didn't they announce that last year? They thanked them for some of their Knox work.
I know they did a partnership, but I don't remember the details of it with regard to that, like merging some of the Knox features over to Android.
Yeah, so I think where this plays in is that there's a lot of mid-sized companies who do not have a mobile management system like that. So if BlackBerry, now look, this isn't going to change. If this wins for BlackBerry, they're just going to be a different company, which is fine, right? They're sort of not going to be a phone company anymore.
Yeah, they need to diversify. So yeah,
it's what they should have done a while ago, right?
A lot of people like me and us and others have been wanting them to come up with at least an Android phone, so there's a reason to buy something with BlackBerry, because a lot of people aren't interested in buying their phones now. So.
Well, and that's what and that's what kind of the article ends with. Is that legit then? Do you think? Like, do you think they're gonna just do products and services like that and do the enterprise thing, or are they gonna come out with an Android BlackBerry phone?
They'll come out with an Android phone at some point. I mean, it's too easy not to. It's like, hey, here's our mobile management suite, for your 50 employees. Oh, by the way, we can guarantee a certain level of service. You just give everybody these Android phones, and as long as they're not junk, I think it'll be fine.
Yeah. Well, think about this. Samsung is like the complete opposite of BlackBerry in every aspect, and part of it is because they throw out a million things, they see what sticks, and they run it, and they sell a lot of it. BlackBerry's like, no, we're just going to have one phone with the keyboard, one phone without. And the next year, maybe we'll come up with another phone, and they're not doing anything to save themselves.
Yeah, and I think it's interesting. It's the same week that Microsoft pretty much throws in the towel on the smartphone business as well, and they're going to be a big focus on productivity software. And I know, the cheerleaders that say, oh no, Microsoft's going to build Windows Phone for business, and it's not what they said in their announcement. They said we're going to develop services for phones.
Yeah, we haven't included this information in the rundown, but we can afterwards. But like Microsoft just announced, I think today or yesterday, that they're like laying off 8,000 people from their Windows Phone or Nokia division. So that's like huge, and they're going to reduce the number of phones they make to like maybe half a dozen a year or so. So that's pretty huge. It seems like they're kind of going the other direction as well. I'm not sure what's going to happen with them.
Yep. So iOS, Android won the smartphone wars. Now it's going to be who's going to win the services war. Google is probably... that's Google and Microsoft right now, because Apple doesn't have any enterprise level stuff. So we'll see.
Now, those of you keeping track at home on the Terminator scoreboard, we can go ahead and scratch Microsoft off the running now. So it's either Skynet's either Facebook or Google. I guess Amazon, which will eventually get bought by Facebook or Google.
I don't know. Amazon's got the listing device in your home now. So
Amazon's got the robots, I'll tell you that.
They've got the drones.
They've definitely got the drones. Instagram coming out with 1080 pixel photos for your Android app, which is cool because not everyone looks at Instagram pictures on a little phone screen. Maybe I want to see a nice, full picture. Usually, but now you can.
Yeah, I think the resolution was like 640 by 640, which was common to what an iPhone would use, in terms of
square res.
So 1080p is a little bit better, at least as far as a square. So it's about time, really.
Eric, I know you're excited for 1080 size photos on Instagram because you're a big foodie. I know that about you. I know you're a huge foodie.
It's true. I mean, if I go to a restaurant and I get a really good Horovats or something like that, I want to take a picture of it because who doesn't love that sort of thing?
Americans.
Please. Actually, I think you would like Horovats.
No, Americans
big
can't
chunks of meat. Yummy.
I can't spell Horovats. I'm American.
Yeah, you got to sort of get the phlegm like that. You got it.
Nice.
I added the story in the rundown about Microsoft laying off nearly 8,000 employees, incidentally. So.
But
what's that about?
It's because they're giving away Windows 10.
They're restructuring.
Don't we all have our little window thing in the bottom? That makes me think that like the government, the NSA, was like, all right, Microsoft, here's Windows 10. We need you to now get it to everybody. And so they're like, all right, well, I guess we'll give it away for free. Free backdoored.
It is weird though that they killed their phone business like not even before they released their next phone OS. It's just really weird.
They bought them a year and a half ago, something like that, and now they're killing off. I mean, most of the employees from the Nokia purchase are all gone now. So.
Now let's go back to alternative history, right? Because the Windows fans always like to say, "Oh, they couldn't have made Android phones; they would have just died." But they're
like getting money from each one already anyway, right? On the other side.
No, what I mean is, Nokia had to go with Windows Phone because if they had just chosen Android, they'd just be some other OEM and lose money and all that. Which is, I mean, they ended up doing exactly that, just going nowhere. But
Right.
do we really think that? Like, why wouldn't a Lumia? Like, why wouldn't a Nokia Android phone have taken off a few years ago? As like we have HTC One, we have Xiaomi doing really well. We got LG. I mean, the only one that's a super powerhouse is like Samsung, right? So I think a Nokia phone with their classic, with their their quality build, their focus on good cameras. I definitely think there could have been a success in the Android market because Android people, it's clear now we want better cameras in our
We
phones.
like that sort of stuff, right?
Yeah, we like good cameras.
For sure.
You know, I don't know. I don't agree with the conventional wisdom that if they had just gone with Android, they would have died anyway. Because I think they had chances to differentiate themselves in a market where there were not good cameras and not there's only a few designs that had good quality build. And I think obviously hindsight is 2020, but
Yeah, the problem is, they hired Steven Elop as their CEO, a former Microsoft exec, and he essentially took over and limited them to really just, Windows Phone, and that wasn't a winning strategy. And they had the AotA line for, overseas, third world markets, stuff like that. But they just made the wrong decision, and now that the company got purchased by Microsoft, a company historically slow to change, adapt. It just hasn't gone well for them. So
yeah. Now the existing Nokia company, whatever part of it is at making Android phones, as soon as their non-compete is over with.
Yeah, they're just doing services mostly, I think.
I kind of feel like when they decided to make that switch to Windows Phone, nobody had actually used it, like in the company. I mean, it could be that Elop strong-armed them, but I mean, I've used, like last year around this time, I had bought a $79 Microsoft Windows Phone. I went to lengths to put Windows Phone, I think 8 or 8.1 on it.
Mango.
It sucked. It was terrible, and the phone wasn't great, but it was the operating system itself. The underlying operating system was terrible. And like you said, Shane, if they would have taken the things that Nokia was doing well, like the cameras, and put that on Android, they probably would have been, at least somewhat successful, definitely more successful than they are now. And I mean, they really don't have much to show for it. They've sort of, ruined the Finnish economy, and a bunch of people have lost their jobs, and
Yeah, I don't know. I don't. I mean, the other thing is they should learn is they had Windows Mobile. They said developers, don't worry. When Windows 7 comes out, you're gonna love it. Windows 7 comes out, no one develops for it. Don't worry, developers, you're gonna love Windows 8. That's where it's at. That's where we're really gonna make our move. Windows 8 comes back, completely bombs. No. Windows 8.1. This is where it's at. Comes out, no one cares. And then finally, Windows 10. Now we're gonna have universal apps. Developers are gonna love it. You're gonna write your apps everywhere. And I mean, you can't tell your developers that. Don't worry. It's the next thing that's gonna make you money because they just won't bother.
well, think about. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to finish up. No startup thinks about, I'm going to need an Android version, an iOS version, and a Windows version. It's either one or the other or both. No one considers Windows Phone at all.
I think that if they, just to tag onto that thought first, I think that if that coming up with Windows 10, if I can write, like, because people still write Windows, applications. So if those Windows applications can very easily or seamlessly be brought to mobile, that might help. That might help the Windows, whatever they're calling it, Windows Phone 8, whatever, Windows Phone 10 market.
Called Windows 10. And
yeah, but most software being written for Windows is actually business software, right? There's no consumer level. The most popular apps on Windows are Chrome and iTunes. And
okay. But then you also have games. I mean, games. I would say games are probably a very popular app genre category.
Yeah, they're a cat. But the types of games you run on Windows, I don't know. Like, what's the game I'm playing right now? Wolfenstein: Old Blood. That one's not. I'm not gonna run that on a tablet. Actually, as I say that, I'm running my games on my NVIDIA Shield tablet.
There, I knew it. Into
So I
a
guess
corner
it's
you
possible.
go.
But you would write that for Windows and then maybe stream it to other devices. You wouldn't try to write it so to work on multiple devices.
Well, not to bash on Windows Phone too much, but I will say like the thing that I think sums up my experience with that operating system is I jumped through all the little hoops signing up for the developers, whatever, to get Windows 8.1 back when it was only available to people who opted in. So I do that. I go, they say, okay, just go to System Updates or whatever, hit Update and get the update. I am presented with blue screen of death level error messaging. It's like, you have error message 0x37200927. And I'm like, what the hell am I looking at? I have to, and that's all it says. It's like that and an error has occurred, which is like, well, no shit, thank you. I don't have my update, and I have this like very cryptic messaging, and I have to Google it, and it takes me an hour to figure out that it's because like the system date had like gotten out of whack. Like I feel like I need to crack this thing open and look for the CMOS battery. Like it's terrible. Like they
Hold on,
brought
how did
brought
you
the,
do it if your computer was down?
my phone was down, not my computer.
Okay.
But yeah, I just like they brought the worst of Windows to the phone, and then I that is why it's not successful, because it sucks.
Strong words from Eric
Just
Fink.
sum that up.
Says Microsoft Windows sucks.
And the things they thought would differentiate them, nobody cared, and no one implemented them. And some were some bad ideas, like baking Facebook into the OS, which means when Facebook makes changes, some of these things can't happen unless you upgrade the OS, which no one's going to do that. So, ripped Windows Phone.
Well, speaking of rip things, Google Glass, not rip, coming in strong with the new Enterprise Edition, just for Eric Finkenbeiner, with a bigger prism and a battery pack in a battery backpack battery. I feel like this is April Fool's. Is this happening?
I'm scared. I am so scared for what this means. I'm glad that they. It's gonna be. You will actually be the Borg. Like you're gonna have a little backpack, little eye thing.
If all they had to do is make the prism circular, and there is the monocle we've all been hoping for.
Oh God.
So close, yet so far away.
Yeah, at this point, it's a lot of rumors. This is coming. This one's coming from 9 to 5 Google, and we've seen some things. I think like FCC filings a couple weeks ago. I'm really. I don't know. What do you guys think? I don't like. This doesn't sound good to me. This doesn't sound like the revised hardware that we were hoping for.
Well, it seems like, just with the name, you used to have, Explorer Edition, now you have Enterprise Edition. This doesn't sound like it's going to be a product for you and I. It's going to sound like it's a product for enterprises.
It's going to be $5,000.
Exactly.
They have customers who are still using the original Google Glass Edition now, and because certain verticals, it was really popular. So I imagine that this is what this is for. And I don't think this is the revised version that we're expecting under Tony Fadell, because it's not enough time has elapsed. I think there's still going to be something else down the line for consumers.
Maybe there'll be a home edition. I don't know. They need something for the rest of us. So
Their home doesn't let you set your own background wallpaper.
Basic mode, yeah.
Windows 7, that was bullshit.
Pay $500 for a software upgrade to get the enterprise version of the same hardware you already bought.
But I actually don't know what for consumers. Like, I don't think there's much appeal for what Google Glass is.
It's got to be Ingress, and that's it.
Yeah, I think it's Ingress, but it's also the people that will strap on that backpack with the 20-something hero cameras on it.
Yeah.
Like I think it's that. I think it's for people that want to do outdoor stuff, that want to it's the fringe things. It's not the mainstream.
I would have bought the original Google Glass if it was in the $300 price range. That whole $1,500 business. I'm sure they made a slight profit out of that, but they didn't really get it into the hands of that many people, relatively speaking. And it's 2 years later, and still people like me are waiting for it, and it's just not coming.
Is it 3 years later now?
Yeah, 3 years. Yeah.
Yeah.
And people like you and people like me are really glad we didn't. And even if you would have spent $300, you would have had instant buyer's remorse. Like, you would have been like, okay, I used it once, and now.
Eric, do you use yours at all for anything anymore?
No, I don't use it anymore. I did reviews with it. I wrote a couple things about, I wrote some articles for it. I got some money for it, and then I put it away because it didn't really. It was cool, but I felt.
Bro, why are you not passing that around to the rest of us? God, you're such an inconsiderate dick sometimes.
Well, you know what happened is that I started to get like this device rot problem to where, like, it was fast at first, and then it just got so effing slow.
Yeah.
Like, just the response time, like, you'd swipe, and it would take maybe 2 to 3 seconds for the swipe to register. I get it. It's a Galaxy Nexus strapped to my head. So I kind of understand, I think, Shane, you were alluding to this, that it was very successful in certain markets, and, if you're a surgeon, you don't want to be, looking for the you don't want to be looking for the instructions or where do I stitch next, and have the the Galaxy Nexus on your face taking 2 to 3 seconds to lag.
Honestly, I hope as a surgeon that you're not like reading instructions off the internet for your surgery. But
I need a take-apart guide.
Dr. Nick!
You never know.
We'll do open heart surgery.
The only use it has for regular users is hands-free photography. For certain things you can't get, it's too difficult. That's the only thing I use it for, taking pictures of, because Petey's not going to be here very much longer. So, for taking pictures of him with it. And if you have a kid,
Eric, send it to me so I can take pictures of this demon spawn that we're about to have here. I'm just kidding! Sorry.
I was being, anyway, so for those are the use cases for normal people.
Yeah?
Yeah, I agree. Hands-free photography, taking it on vacation, especially like in cool places that, not Paris, right? Like hiking, doing things like that. This is really, really good stuff.
Wait,
outside of that,
Paris is not cool, or that you would get beat up by French people for wearing it there, which is not cool?
I think you'd get knifed by French people, and then they'd steal it off your face.
French people do not F around. They used to. And then they got a reputation of being all sissy foo-foo, and now they will straight up knife you.
It also depends on which district you're in, so yeah.
Well, yeah.
That is very true. I will say the French people I met were very nice. I liked the French people. But then there was the one point where I was being followed by like 3 or 4 guys, and I'm like, oh shit, I'm gonna get mugged.
Yep.
So
And
there's
then
that. So then I took the glass off my face.
But they realized you're too much of a badass, so they clearly avoided.
You realized you were filming them, and they were like, what's going on here?
Sacre bleu, he's a Borg, run!
Grab the baguettes and run!
What do we got next, Matt?
$69.99 on Woot if you want a refurbed Android Wear, the LG G Watch.
It's tempting.
And 50 Cent fans. Hell yeah. I kind of want one.
The G Watch?
Yeah, G Watch. I don't wear watches though, so I feel like I would just break
This
it.
is actually a Pebble Time. But I have the G Watch. It's not bad.
Yeah, for the original Android watch, if I remember right. Or at least one of
first
them.
one that came out.
A launch one.
Yeah, but I've been wearing the Pebble Time mostly, not that Android watch.
You like that better? Obviously, or
The
LG you had.
Well, I have the Moto 360, I have the LG G Watch, and I have the Pebble Time.
Why are you guys getting all these cool things? Where am I missing out on all these cool things?
For one thing, this is a Kickstarter. I have the LG Watch because I wanted something I wear outside when I work outside and mow. That I'm not gonna care if I get grass on it. Grass.
Because the 360 is way prettier.
Yeah, it was refurr. I think it was like $79.99. I mean, I didn't. It's not a brand new watch. But the Pebble Time, I got it, and it hooks in with Android Wear, and You know, I have to say, at that price, I mean, you're gonna
Buy one like right now.
honestly.
You're in Kmart Timex territory at $69.99.
It is, right?
And the battery is really the battery life is really good in the LG Watch, because you don't have there's something you don't have that the screen the screen's pretty good, I guess, on power. But honestly, that's a good price for that watch. I have to say, for a while when I was running Android Wear 5.1, I much preferred the G Watch to the Moto 360. But why am I wearing a Pebble Time all the time? Battery life. There is no other smartwatch that you can actually wear.
Yeah, isn't it
when you
like
sleep.
5 to 7 days or something like that of use time?
I don't get 5 to 7 days. I get 4 days. But I don't know. I don't know what the variables are with that. There's a pretty good app community around it. It hooks in with Android Wear. So it's a little more expensive than that G Watch. So honestly, that G Watch is a pretty good deal.
What's the new Pebbles go for?
200, I think. That was a Kickstarter version.
Right.
But it doesn't have a touch screen.
Isn't that basically like the same as like a Kindle, like an e-ink Kindle compared to a regular tablet? Like you're getting like the battery life difference.
Yeah, the display.
Yeah, that's right. And the displays work. It has a little bit of a backlight. It won't show up on camera very well. It shows decent colors. It's a little weird using buttons, not a touch screen, but it's something. It brags about how waterproof it is. So like, I don't take a shower with it because that seems weird because you want to clean underneath it. But
why are you showering with your watch on?
but people do that. It's like, oh, I shower with my watch on. I don't get it.
I just get a stripe.
Well,
what if you get a text? What if you get a text and you're in the shower and you miss it?
But the thing is, wearing a watch, the way you have to wear them, it's like, of all the places you need to wash regularly, underneath the watch is one of them. In any case, but it's one thing, I find that the alarm just vibrating on my wrist wakes me up better than a sound now. So
it on. But
what?
You sleep with it on, but you don't shower with it on.
Right, because right.
Interesting. Okay.
Because it's good. It's good for alarms. I didn't think I would like it.
Are you a shoes on the bed or off the bed kind of guy?
Lots of people wear these devices when they sleep for sleep monitoring. This doesn't do any of that, but
that's true. I didn't think of that. Okay, you got me there.
No, I wear honestly just to wake up because it wakes the vibration on the wrist wakes me up better than audible alarm right now.
And you got the regular version or the steel version?
This is the Pebble Time, so it's the brand new one.
You had a steel version of the Pebble Time.
Okay, I do not have the steel version.
Oh, okay.
But it integrates really well with Android. There's good apps for it. I can control Google Play and Pocket Casts, the weather. There's no Google Keep integration, but the Evernote integration is pretty good. One of the things that it's gonna sound like a really silly thing, but I think people will really like it. On Android 5.1, you can and on the Pebble Time with Evernote, you can leave your shopping list up on your wrist. So instead of having to swap back and forth, you can just look at your wrist, scroll up and down, and check things off. And I use a shopping list as anything that requires you need to keep track of a list of steps. That's a really good application for it. Voice is really good on the Pebble Time. I don't know if it's using Google's back end to do that, but I've dictated texts and Google Hangout messages from it many times. I would not get this if you are on iOS because it doesn't integrate very well. But if you're on Android and you're thinking about a smartwatch, that LG Watch deal is a pretty good deal. But if you want a little extra, more battery life, the Pebble Time is pretty good.
I see this and it seems like the Pebble Time is fulfilling the promise of the original Kickstarter. If you guys remember, the original Kickstarter said they were going to use e-ink displays. They ended up having to use LCD displays. The battery life was still good. I mean, I think that it was better than the LG G Watch that I was using. I had both of them side by side.
Wait, the original Pebble was LCD?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that it was supposed to be e-ink, and then they went LCD, and it pissed a lot of people off.
Are you?
I will correct my. Well, you know what? Let's Google it, Shane Brady, because I was wrong about the Pebble Time Steel. I
Oh,
could be wrong about this.
Oh, there was no Pebble Time Steel?
Yeah,
No,
there
I
was.
thought so.
There was a Pebble Time Steel. I don't know if it's out yet, but they announced both a plastic
Oh.
version and a steel version. That I do remember because I had a friend that was considering getting the steel version, and I was considering getting the plastic. The steel one looks better than the plastic one, but the plastic one doesn't look bad. I like the user interface of the Pebble Time. I think that's, to me, the most innovative part of it. It looks really good.
Oh, you know what? I actually got an email about this. Upgrade to the Pebble Time Steel. The
Yeah,
strap.
it
The
was
strap.
144 by 168 pixel sharp memory LCD. E-paper.
What?
E-paper. What?
That might be the new one.
Yeah, the new one I think is e-paper. Heck, I could be wrong though, but
I'm just looking on the here for it.
I don't even know.
I'd rather.
Okay.
All right.
Let's,
Well,
what would you rather talk about, Matt?
I'm reading this wiki now. I'm interested.
Oh, he's in.
They raised $375,000 from angel investors like Tim Draper.
my only advice to smartwatches, though, don't buy an Apple Watch. Don't waste your money.
yeah. Apple
And
still
with
hasn't,
that, he twists the knife.
yeah, Apple still hasn't released their sales numbers for it, so it's not.
No, it
looking
doesn't
too
care
good.
about the sales numbers. It's overpriced, and it doesn't do
Yeah.
that much.
Yeah, and the user interface is bad. It's, to me, it's even worse from what I've seen than the Windows Tiles interface. So it's just not good.
So it was a black and white memory LCD, ultra low power, transflective display.
All right, well, whatever this color one is, it claims. I think it says it's color e-ink.
Damn.
It's e-paper. I think it's yeah. I don't
That's
know.
fancy. That's fancy schmancy. I'll tell you what. All my e-ink is just in black and white. So.
It's colorful.
A lot of shades in there. A lot of shades of gray. Probably about 50 of them. That's good. OnePlus 2. Are we excited for this? Are we gonna hop on this invite system when it happens?
Yep.
Yeah. I'm getting yeses and no's.
You know,
Yeah.
the
That was
only
quick.
bad thing about the OnePlus One was the camera. Everything else about the device is great. The OS was great. The battery life was great. The screen was great. The same one on it's the same screen that you get on the iPhone 6 Plus. There's nothing bad I can say about that phone except for the camera. It was very inconsistent. And if they put a good camera on there, you know,
It's funny you should say that, because out of all the stuff that they've announced, and like the Reddit AMA, like all that stuff, they still have not mentioned the camera. So if that was your one gripe, it's very weird.
No, they did mention recently they care about the camera and they expect to have something to really make it stand out.
Okay.
Which
I'm
is
talking
what
about
every
real
phone-
things to announce.
Yeah, and
I care about the camera.
which is what every OEM has said, for years about the camera, including Google. Oh, we care about the camera, and then it's a blah camera.
We care about the camera in as much as we care about keeping our costs low, so that we can pass that savings on to you.
Listen, does it do the square Instagram photos like the iPhone? That's all I care about.
640 by. That's all I need.
So we'll see. Oxygen OS is the only version of Lollipop 5.0 done by non-Google that was fast. The only one that was good. So, and those guys, I used to run some of the Paranoid Android ROMs. They were some of the best ROMs out there. Better and faster than Cyanogen a lot of times.
I agree.
So this could be, if it's running Oxygen OS and a good camera, and it's going to be very close to stock, it could be pretty cool.
Well, it sounds pretty neat. The 3,300 milliamp hour battery, USB Type-C wireless.
Yeah.
Well, what did I do?
Oh, I love you, Eric.
I think it's a gigawatts.
So many
Gigawatts.
I can't use my English.
How many gigaamps is that, Eric?
It's way
All
too
the
early
gigaamps.
for this crap. You have no idea.
Oh, goodness.
Oh my god. Now the one thing that I was very disappointed about, they're still doing this invite stuff.
Yeah.
Like it's going to be invite only at first. They haven't said what that's going to entail, but they say that they're early supporters, and I'm guessing that's people like you, Brain Shady, is that you will be prioritized ahead of us,
Real
us
brain
lesser beings.
stand up. Hold on. So are these? This is the same group that was doing like the send us a hot chick picture and we'll give you an invite type of thing.
Hopefully a new group, but it was the same company. Yeah.
It's going to come with hopefully different marketing people.
Yeah. Hopefully different marketing team.
It was a good idea.
Smash your phone, get a phone.
They got a lot of play out of that, right?
Yeah, I have to say, as much as I like Cyanogen, I don't think they're going to lose anything by going to these paranoid Android guys.
What is this keynote viewing? Better options for watching with or without VR? What does that mean? Is that the keynote that they announce it on? I'm confused.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, we talked about it a few shows ago, like a few shows ago, where how they wanted to put, you'd have to use Google Cardboard. So I guess they heard loud and clear that not everybody wants to strap a phone to their face to watch this thing.
Yeah, we do.
If there's booth babes, we do. I mean,
Just make it look good, right? I mean, come on.
If you want 3D, you got whatever.
3D. I want real D. The real D.
We're not going there.
Are any of you guys prepared to give me the real D?
No.
Are we not there yet?
Not quite there yet.
Are there
any
out there that are ready to bring forth the real D? No?
Nope.
Not even Lucas?
We'll leave it to Elon Musk.
Does he got the real D?
He's got the real D.
Bring it. Oh, goodness. Hey, what about this Nintendo partnership thing happening? I was almost going to buy a used Wii. That's how, desperate for entertainment I am right now. Used Wii so that I can play Mario Party with myself. And
kids like Wii.
And the computer. No, this is for me. I think you're completely confused.
I think you're forgetting that in about a year everything will be for somebody else. But
No. I think a Wii is good because the Wii U's are really expensive for a Wii U. There's no way I would spend more than $100 on that.
I really like the Wii. Didn't end up collecting a lot of dust.
Yeah.
But the Wii U, just no one cares. The games people are looking for now, I think, are a little more advanced than that.
And Zelda? Oh, come on.
People play. No, people. There's a place for nostalgia, but they don't. It doesn't have to be. No one wants to buy. No one. I don't know.
No one purposefully goes and buys a Wii U. It is either.
It seems if you could run Zelda remake, whatever, on every device other than a Wii U, you would sell way more copies than if you could only sell to your Wii U.
Yeah.
Like this, 7 or 8 million people bought Wii U's.
Yeah.
Look at how successful that was for Sega when they got out of the hardware business. I mean, the thing to remember is that these companies, the hardware is secondary to their IP, yeah. And Nintendo, they screw up a lot of things, but their first-party games are always solid. I don't think this mobile, it's not even a pivot this mobile side project. I don't think it's going to be compelling or successful. They might have some success. I think they, with things like Shovel Knight, how they brought in a third-party developer and did a small little game, something like that could be mobile. They could, I think that maybe the only successful thing they could do would be taking all the Wii and Wii U Virtual Console stuff and making that available on mobile.
I don't think they're looking at it that way because in the last paragraph here, it just says that the success of this Kim Kardashian Hollywood game on iOS and Android is a classic example of how great branding with a great backend can make a wildly successful product. You see what they did there? A great backend.
And this is the problem, is that like they're looking for, like, they're doing the cookie cutter approach to this strategy versus like actually buckling down and thinking about it.
And put it on the phone. Put it on Android. Put it in the Play Store. Put it on the damn thing you have that you never play. The Ouya. I'd play Zelda on the Ouya.
Kim Kardashian as Zelda on
Zelda Return of the Back End.
I feel like if Nintendo did this, they would be like, Square Enix has had, they've had success in releasing their old stuff, like the old Final Fantasies, all this, they've had success doing that at premium prices on the mobile platform. I think Nintendo could do that. I just don't know that they would, because Square Enix does not sell hardware devices. Nintendo does.
Isn't it Square Enix?
Square Enix.
Not Enix.
It's not Square Enix, I thought.
That's how all of us have been saying it in America.
Yeah. Anus, you guys?
It's not how, maybe not how they say it in Missouri.
Square Enix. We missed you, Shane.
But where does Nintendo go from here, right? I mean, are they going to put out another console the next few years that's going to sell 20 or 30 million?
They would hope.
But I mean, the thing with the Wii U is they guessed wrong on every single bit of it. Nothing about the device did people like.
Yeah, in 2011, when they first started showing pictures of the controller with the like a 5-inch screen, like no one wants to play, on a video console with something that's larger than this as your controller. And they made other wrong decisions there. They focused on first party and tried screwing third party developers. So I don't know.
So I guess what it comes down to is, if they're only going to have 7 to 10 million consoles, however poorly sold the Wii U is, I mean, that's your market for games, 7 to 10 million. And
well, I mean, I think that their market is the mobile market, but not mobile on phones. Like the Game Boy, the 3DS, like that. Yeah. That is their successful market.
Yeah.
That was good stuff. I've had very many of those.
Are they still selling a lot of those?
Yes.
Yeah, a lot.
Even though like the hardware is like 4 years old in terms of how. Yeah.
It's like Galaxy Nexus, but it's all their stuff. So
even less. We're talking like 32 or 64 megs of RAM. It's like something like that. It's even the newer 3DS is not that good.
But it's so good.
According to Wikipedia, as of March, they have sold 9.5 million Wii U's. In 2 years.
Yeah.
10 million. You watch. Gonna happen.
They oh shit! Now I lost my train of thought. Oh well.
Oh well. Who's excited for the AotA phone besides Russians?
That's a compelling phone.
I thought it was cool AF, but we never really saw it, right? I mean, it was.
You can get it through a Kickstarter, can't you?
They sell it in Europe, so yeah. I think you can go to like Carphone in the UK and order it that way.
Oh no, Indiegogo. You can order it through Indiegogo.
That works out better for them. Even if they don't meet their goal, they'll still keep all the money. Whereas like with Kickstarter, if you don't meet the goal, you have to refund the money.
But I know people laugh at this, right? But like the amount of Kindle reading I do, I mean, that's all I would do. That's all I would do. I put Kindle and Google Play Books, and that's all I would use it for. The e-ink side. And I think that is actually useful.
Just think about the active notification side of things. You turn it on its face, and you still have the notifications on the e-ink display, and it won't really eat up the battery as well. That should be pretty good.
Yeah, I don't even care about that though. But like, if you use a Kindle, and if you're into the Kindle universe, you should not laugh at this. This is a good idea. And
the framework is sound, but
my phone and my Kindle around. If I could just carry one, getting back to that one device thing.
I would prefer a AotA tablet.
Ooh.
I don't want to read on a phone. I've never liked reading on a phone.
Yeah.
So I hear what you're saying, Shane. I think the structure of the idea is sound, but they need to like make it bigger, and
Right,
it
but
doesn't need to be a
It'd
phone.
also be cheaper too if they made a tablet. So
well, they'd be cheaper. Oh, it's without all the cellular stuff on it. It might be. Um, yeah, but Eric. I mean, you've also never read on a phone. You've never read on a phone that's an e-ink display. Like, I mean, the back of a back. I don't know what phone you're rocking right now, but you
It
know,
would still be annoying on this.
what is that?
Like at the Moto X 2014.
That's a good phone. That's a big phone though. That whole back was a well, it's a little weird. A camera in the middle of it, but what does the AotA do for that? But I think that would be. I think that would still be pretty compelling.
you can just resize text, and most viewers have a mode that just reflows the text as you resize it. So
You may not like it as much as reading it on a tablet, Eric, but it'd be 10 times better than reading on your phone.
it'd be a lot more
Oh, I
convenient.
don't disagree with that.
It's doable.
Don't want to do it.
Read it on your phone, Eric. Quit being a baby. You can take
I don't.
and make the text really small so that it looks like it's on a phone, and then that's kind of what it's like.
Perfect. It's like aging myself 30 years.
Yeah, right before
I'm
our
really
birthday.
excited to do that.
I know. 26 more years of doing this show, and we'll be able to actually see that.
Well, if these rumors are true, you won't be able to do your little Google Play books on there because they've confirmed that there is a Sailfish Jala firmware out there, but it's not clear yet as to whether they're moving away from Android entirely or if it's just going to be another option.
Yeah, so if they decide to go Sailfish, that will be when they decided they don't want to sell any more phones.
Well,
pretty much.
if you look down towards the end of the article, they're saying that the context is that the Russian government wants a mobile OS that's not controlled by an American company.
Hmm.
So they chose Sailfish for that reason. But it's
Yeah.
all speculation at this point.
Well,
It's kind of stupid, though.
Oppo did the same. Isn't it Oppo or OnePlus One that did the same thing? Or Oppo, right, where they sold Color OS in China, but they had CyanogenMod mod for their Oppo for a couple of their phones. The Oppo Find 5, I think.
Well, Color OS was still Android.
Yeah.
But
It was just a skin.
But that's the same company that's behind the OnePlus One.
Yeah.
I mean, they're selling Sailfish. Come on.
Yeah, this doesn't make sense to me. I mean, even like the report of like, oh, it would only be for Russian government. Like that's stupid because the Russian government could just take Android AOSP, and Yotaphone could make something out of that. Like Google, the part that is the Google apps. Yeah, that's run by an American company. The other stuff, I mean, they can go through the source code and do whatever they want with it. So it seems like a weak and stupid excuse unless they were doing something that was, made by, a Russian company.
Or unless they can get their spy stuff into Sailfish OS better than they can on Android.
Yeah.
It's like Sailfish, what else? Firefox, Ubuntu. I mean, these things Tizen. I mean, there's no reason for them to exist anymore. Like, I don't know what Firefox is thinking. No one's buying Firefox phones.
That's what they said about Linux, man. I think you're just a hater.
Just give it another 20 years. It'll catch on. Trust me.
That's right.
It's very niche. You just don't have the right device for it.
Yeah, because I want to be able to buy a device.
For Google Glass version 5.
Yeah.
But they said they do have a Sailfish firmware that does exist, and it may or may not one day be released for use by the Russian government.
Don't you kind of want to try one of these out?
The
yeah, just to see what it's like.
I do.
A little curious, a little phone curious.
Yeah, to see how well the e-ink display works.
I strapped a Kindle to the back of my phone, and then it's like the same thing. It's just... All right. Anything else we want to talk about before we wrap this up? Give me one more good reason.
And was there any big Android news this week?
Well, something that Shane might be interested in.
Ooh.
I don't use Eclipse anymore. I think Android Studio is for Android developing, I'd say I don't use Eclipse anymore because Android Studio has gotten really good.
Yeah,
But Google has announced
anymore.
What's that?
They don't support Eclipse anymore.
I know, and that is the news, Shane Brady. They
So
don't support Eclipse anymore.
Eclipse.
Wow.
I know. There you go.
I think this is probably fine. Eclipse was. If all you're doing is Android developing, Eclipse was a lot of crap to install just to it's bulky. It is a bulky IDE. So it feels like, at least it feels like Android Studio doesn't lag, and it's not as cumbersome as Eclipse.
You're right. So Android Studio is built off of IntelliJ IDEA, the whole thing, which is recognized as one of the best cores for an IDE. Eclipse, I use NetBeans at work a lot. I've tried using IntelliJ, but I haven't been able to make the switch yet. Yeah, I think this is fine. I think most developers I don't know anybody who's like a huge fan of Eclipse, right? So Android Studio, people seem to dig, and there's a lot of things about it that compare very favorably with Xcode and Visual Studio. That level class of IDEs. So I think it's good. I think in this case, I don't think they should continue to support Eclipse, make everybody move. I mean, really, the only difference I think is maybe some of your projects in Eclipse are using the Maven system and not Gradle. That may be the only thing that that's that you have to worry about.
Yeah, and I have to say too, just like the tight integration. Not that it was difficult before, but just like the integration between the IDE, the SDK. You're not having sometimes I would find that I would want to install the Android Studio or the Android SDK plugins into Eclipse, and there would be weird problems with the plugin system in Eclipse. Like this, it's just nice you install it. The SDK manager comes right up. It's already integrated. It has matured into a very nice system. I think they're on version 2 now.
Oh yeah, it's been out for a few years now. It's not like it's brand new.
Yeah, it just wasn't that. I used the first version. It was not that good. If you would have said something a year and a half ago, Eclipse I think was still easier. Now it is easier and nicer to use Android Studio.
I'm gonna get
less buggy.
I'm going to get my old man rant and say that kids today, programming, honestly, have no idea what it was like when you didn't have IDEs. You actually had to write your own make-files, and probably none of you know what a make-file is. Yeah, really, stop complaining. This is like the equivalent of flying through the air in a steel tube and complaining about the Wi-Fi in your plane. The IDEs are fine. Eclipse is okay. Android Studio is better. Yeah.
I think we should all just be programming in Notepad. You're right. God damn. Bust out some Vim
in Notepad.
I will not use an IDE if I can't find a VI plugin.
Ooh.
I hate VI. Ooh. I hate VI so goddamn much.
I hate it
no
too,
idea.
by the way.
You could never get that shortcut system of how to type. Pisses me off.
Eric, your limitations do not have any bearing on the awesomeness that is VI, though.
Yeah, you're one of those people that learned how to do something in a really retarded way, and now you're totally invested. You're invested. You're like, I can't.
I can't unlearn this retardedness, so I'm just gonna keep doing it and hate on it.
It's all muscle right now.
Yeah, exactly. So I think once you have the muscle memory, it's cool. I bought a little Kindle book on how to use VI, and it's all great. I still couldn't get the muscle memory down.
Oh, now weirdly enough, if I go to Google Docs, most of the time I can handle that, but I'll start doing
You're like colon Q. Why isn't it quitting?
Colon this and colon that.
Yeah, hitting escape.
Oh, right, and then exit. Oh. Like flashing BIOS firmware. This is ridiculous. Eric, what's our?
I think we should colon Q this show.
Eric, colon Q right to the damn trash can. What's our?
Q bang.
Thank you.
If you would like to call and Q bang us, you can do so at show@attackoftheandroid.com.
With the D. Make sure to bring the D when you call and Q bang Eric.
Subject line D.
Subject line, the D. All right, attackoftheandroids.com. Thanks for listening. Check us out on Stitcher, on iTunes. Leave us a review. We appreciate that. Check out the Facebook page, Google+, Twitter account, and Shane Brady's Facebook page. Because he's on Facebook.
Sort of.
Sort of. All right. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next week, Wednesday. Right? Wednesday? We're switching the days. It's probably
Are we doing Wednesday effective next week?
Yep,
All right.
that'll work.
Okay.
Good night, everybody.